Despite our physical frailty, people continue to take the most extreme risks, just for the sake of the thrill. Meet Eric Johnson, skydiver.
I first started thinking about skydiving, actually I was about 8 years old, and we were at an air show, and they had the Golden Knights, the Army parachute team was there, and it just blew me away as a little kid, you know, watching this. And then when they landed, one of the guys, he let me help him pack his parachute and everything, told my mom right then I was going to skydive someday.
Eric had over 500 jumps behind him when, on that fateful day, he and his friend Troy decided it was time to capture the rush on video.
You're flying. You're physically flying. There's nothing like it. It is the funnest thing I've ever done.
You're head down, going straight down, then your head up, you're sitting, you're turning around, you're flipping over.
Whenever you're falling in a full stand-up position like this, you're going like 300 miles an hour. That's like the length of a football field every second. It's like football field. And it's exhilarating.
We got caught up in the skydive, and I found myself upside down at 2,000 feet and said, oh, I'm out of here, and just deployed. You're supposed to be open by 2,000 feet. At that fall rate, you know, you got 10 seconds till you impact the ground, so you got to start doing something.
That's, I mean, I don't want to say panic time, but it's time to get open. Because basically, if that main doesn't work, you got very little time to deal with it. So I flipped over and went to pull. I dumped the main, and it opened fine.
But suddenly, Eric became aware that he had made a potentially deadly mistake. He had waited too long to release his main chute, and now the low altitude, combined with a high rate of speed, automatically triggered his backup chute. As a result, neither chute could deploy at a proper angle to slow him down enough for a safe landing.
I was just thinking, oh my God, he's got a double malfunction. You know, that's what you don't want. You have a second parachute so that it saves you in case your first parachute doesn't work. And whenever you see somebody get wrapped up like that, it's not a pretty sight.
Eric was now in a precarious position. With two chutes out, he made the fateful decision to cut away his main canopy and ride in on the reserve.
So I went ahead and reached over, cut it away. And right as I did it, I thought, man, I hope this thing doesn't get hung up in that reserve. And when I released the main canopy, the risers went away, and the reserve just hooked the left riser of my main canopy and wrapped it up in there and knotted it. And I'm looking up at it going, I can't believe it happened. You know, you're just like, 2 seconds ago, I was thinking, man, I hope that doesn't happen. And you're sitting there and you're like, I'm...
On the ground, there was a lot of tension, a lot of worry. Watching somebody coming to the ground at 50 or 60 miles an hour is just not a good sight, you know what I mean?
I immediately unstowed the toggles and started pumping them, trying to pull down on them and pump them and hope that that thing will clear. And I pumped them, and like one side of the canopy inflated. Then it started a violent spin one way, so I pulled the other one to try and counter. Then it collapsed again, and it would seem like everything I did, some things would get it to where it would inflate a little bit and start supporting me. And the next thing you know, you're feeling no pressure on your toggles. You're heading towards the earth again at a high rate of speed.
He started spinning around and spinning and spinning. He was spinning real fast, and I was like, oh my, whoa. And I thought, well, I don't even want to tell you what I thought he was dead.
Just a million things are going through your mind, and I remember the first thing I thought was, you know, there's no way I'm going to survive this. This is not a survivable scenario. There's no time during the incident that I think I was going to survive. And then I'm thinking, I can't believe this is happening to me, man. This is my last jump. And you know, when you smoke and joke with your friends, and you're like, man, I would never want to sit in the hospital and die of cancer and be in a life support machine for 2 weeks, you know, or, you know, be incapacitated for 10 years and die slow. I'd much rather just burn in at 200 miles an hour. And you'll hear a lot of skydivers say that. But let me tell you what, when I was up there, I was like, man, I'll take the cancer any day. Because I'm like, you got a few seconds left, and you can't make amends, you can't do anything. It was only just a few seconds, seemed like a long time in the air. I made like 4 complete rotations. I saw power lines, I saw a house, I saw a tree, I saw a road. And I'm like, man, this is gonna hurt real bad, or it's not gonna hurt at all. And when it kicked me on the last spin, it whipped me right over this bean field, right on the edge of it, a little bit of plowed up ground, and it laid me out completely on one side, so I was going to land on this side. I didn't want this arm dangling out there, so I kind of tucked it up so it wouldn't get broken off, and I hit completely on my right side, all as a unit. Boom. And you get like a weird, I don't know if you've ever been popped in the nose by anybody, you get kind of a weird smell in your nose after hitting. I got that, and I kind of laid there for just a second, and I'm like, man, I'm alive. And not only am I alive, I'm not even hurt. So then I get up and I start screaming, "Thank God! Thank God! And, you know, I'm just freaking out, you know, screaming. I can't describe the feeling, man, because one minute you think you're going to die, and that is the most depressing, helpless feeling you could ever have. And in the next minute, you're fine. And, you know, now you're one bad dude because, you know, you saw the Grim Reaper and you beat him.
Yeah! And I go over there, and he is just screaming. He's like, "Oh, my God, I can't believe it." And I went up and gave him a hug. I was like, "Man, I'm so glad you're not dead." You know what I mean?
I don't think there's anybody that would live through that. I really don't. That's the worst thing I've ever seen in skydiving.
Get the off of me!
I'm not going to stop skydiving. Been doing it for 3 years, hardcore every weekend, and if I survive the incident, I'm going to keep jumping. There's no way I'll ever stop. If I don't jump once a week, I get like clinically depressed. You know, I mean, it's like seeing the sun for some people. They got to be around the sun. Well, I got to be around skydiving.
Coming up, a driverless school bus hurtles out of control. A bomb expert stares death in the face, and a teenager is engulfed in flames that will not be extinguished.